an unexpected journey. I imagine the disciples were a little bit perplexed why Jesus would go through Samaria to get where he was going. Usually he'd go around somehow and make it a longer trip, but Jesus insisted on going through Samaria. And I imagine they're thinking to themselves, okay, now what? But we've done that before. We've taken unexpected journeys. I know of several people that say, you know what? We got some vacation time. Let's get in a car and just drive. Go wherever and see what we can see. You know, and they say get in their car and they just drive west, or they go south or north or whatever, and just stop along the way and see what there is and spend the night somewhere they just happen to spend the night at. They make no plans. They just wing it. They just go wherever. Sometimes that's really kind of, wow, that's kind of neat. Others think, well, I think we need to plan a little bit more than that and get some decent hotel rates or something, instead of just, we're driving for 14 hours and the next hotel is 36 miles down the road or 2 hours down the road, and you're like, well, we didn't plan that very well. We should have stopped back there if we had known. But blessings happen too. Sometimes you just never know what you'll encounter. In various movies that I watch too, one is The Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey. The young hobbit invites a bunch of dwarves into his house, and they trash the place, eat all his food, and they talk about a journey, and Gandalf the wizard comes, and they're going to do a journey back to where the dwarves' kingdom is, where their gold is, in a mountain guarded by a dragon. Well, Bilbo goes with them, of course, and getting outside the perimeter of his safe little haven is something new to him, to see new lands and different kinds of mountains and trees and different types of people and creatures and that kind of thing. Just blows his mind. He has no idea. Giant spiders and Gollum and all these things he never would have expected if he hadn't taken a journey. Wasn't planned. Just go, get up and go. But he also discovered something about himself as well. He found out that he had more courage than he thought. He was braver than he thought. He was more loyal than he ever imagined. He had a sense of responsibility. Many different things within himself he discovered by being on this journey that he could never have predicted. He would have never had discovered and had a chance to develop if he had just stayed in his home and his town and not moved an inch. So in his case, in a lot of cases with people, it brings us upon something we've never encountered before, and we have to adapt to. We have to change. We have to discover who we are in the midst of it. With this outbreak of this pandemic, it's a kind of an unexpected journey. We've seen that the history of things that we've had these before, and how we respond to that is telling in itself and what we do. But it's something we don't know the full extent of the consequences of our actions either. We don't know what's coming next. We don't know that if we do thus and so, then this is going to happen, and we didn't even plan for that to happen, but it does. If we do nothing, what does that mean? And so, in a sense, we're on a journey ourselves. We didn't expect this one to happen, but it's upon us, and now what do we do? And so we each carefully pray and find wisdom in God's guidance. We talk amongst ourselves and try to find the best way to develop and grow our response to this, as anybody normally would. Jesus was on his journey with his disciples, and daily they were stretched beyond what they thought they could do. Simple people, often with being fishermen or tax collectors or whatever, beyond their bounds. And this journey with Jesus is certainly different than what they ever expected it to be. And change within themselves that they never thought possible as well. The woman at the well has been changed. Her belief in the Messiah that will come a certain way to their mountain, Mount Gerizim, is now expanded and blown apart by this Jesus who very well could be the Messiah in their eyes. And she comes to believe, as others do. And Jesus, on his part, talks in figurative sense, in figurative sense, and she's taking him literally. Well, then I never have to come back here and drink physical water anymore. And he's saying, well, it's not exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking more metaphorically of the living water that you'll drink, a spirit that will be quenched. And he says this to let them know that there will be no others, that he is the final Messiah. With me, your thirst will be quenched. Not just for a little while, but permanently. So in other words, there will be no others. To follow me, there were no others before me. In terms of Messiah, I am the Messiah. Don't keep searching. You've discovered what you have been hoping for, praying for, and waiting for. I'm here. And I imagine her excitement and delight. And probably also a little bit of surrealness. You grow up thinking that the Messiah will come and it finally happens and this doesn't seem real to me. Now what do we do? And we find that Jesus has expanded his vision too. He's not only talking to the Jews but also the Samaritans. He's staying there for 2 days to preach and teach and tell his story. And it sounds like they were eager to listen. People are eager to listen. It doesn't matter who they are. And Jesus, in his own right, talks to this woman. It doesn't matter what she did. It wasn't as if you've had 5 husbands, unclean, stay away from me. I'm going to save this message for somebody more worthy than you. He just goes on and talks to her as if she's pure in heart and everything else. And it doesn't matter to him. The message for him, he talked to her as a person to person, as he would. She's very different from Nicodemus, who we talked about last week. She's not well versed. She's a woman, Samaritan woman. She can't rest on her laurels about being an expert in theology and the practice of law and all those kinds of things, where Nicodemus was. But still, both had an idea that I'm going to listen, be willing to hear what Jesus has to say, and have an open heart to accept who he is from what he is saying with a glad heart, and to spread the news to the people around them. She did a fine job with that. But Jesus, in his right, is walking with her as God is walking with us in our unexpected journeys always. Oftentimes we don't know where we're going, but we have to take in faith and comfort that God's holding our hand no matter what and is with us. Thick or thin, that never changes. The promise of God is never going to change. God will be with us always, even in our unexpected journeys now. And we have to find out ways how we can hold the hands of others to give them strength, give them courage in these times as well, and what that means and how to do that. God is with us always in our unexpected journeys. Amen.